Kuti family, the legacy it's beyond music, and giving a part of yourself and even getting nothing in return.
So you see, giving and getting nothing in return. I am of the opinion that we've done enough of that. It's like this ridiculousness with the Ojota protest with my dad. He goes there and then he calls Tinubu's name and then they collect the mic from him, so he doesn't show up again. He comes out about this thing. Until today, Nigerians are still insulting him on a daily basis. I look at these clowns and I just think, you must be stupid. And then you say, your father did not. What did your own father do?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another episode of Paul's Breakdown. And today we have a very special guest, the Grammy-nominated Afrobeat legend in waiting, Made Kuti. How you doing?
I'm so glad you said legend in waiting.
I mean, it's inevitable.
Legend, I'll be like,
it's inevitable. It's a process, and we have Fela, we have Uncle Femi,
Uncle Sheo.
we have Uncle Sheo, and now, definitely the legend in waiting. So let's just get straight to it.
Yep.
Your new song, Live As We Know It.
Yep.
And I mentioned that I've heard it before, because like na 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 na. I couldn't miss that. So you said you've had the song for a while now.
Yes, we've been playing it for a while, for about I think 2 years now, and we had a bit of issues getting it out, recording, release, choosing the right space, the right label, and all of those more industry related issues.
Yeah.
But right now, everything is fixed. We're in a very secure relationship with some very fantastic people.
Oh, nice.
So we're looking forward to putting out all the music that we've been playing for the past 2 years.
It's like you don't strike me as a very someone that enjoyed those labels, the conversation with the business.
When they say don't do this, you must do that. But then I'm lying to the people.
You're a performer. You just want to be on the stage.
Exactly. I like to play.
Yeah, you like to play.
I love playing.
Yeah.
So
the song, you talk about how just live, how contentment, just give to the fair. Don't obsess over wealth. You know how many cars you want to drive, this and that. Do you this is like a conversation that is original to you as an artist, even to the lineage, your family, making socially conscious music.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you now, you're a person, sometimes do you get tired a bit, feel like, God, nothing is going to change. Let me sing for my wife. Let me make music for myself. And just, nothing is going to change. Do you feel like that sometimes?
I feel like it's difficult to be objective. And I think that a lot of people, including myself, sometimes we act on our feelings. So we look at Nigeria and you see the condition of things. You see how many years Fela fought. My dad fought.
Wow.
Uncle Sheo is speaking out now. Everybody, Fumila of Kuti, they threw her from a story building. She was a righteous, person that was so dedicated to the growth of the African. She risked her life for everything and they killed her for it. So you might reflect and I'll just say, what's the point of it all? Yeah. If all these people couldn't bring change, what's the chance that my songs or my performances can enact anything? But I truly believe that it's not so much the power of the individual, it's the power of the collective. So it's when the right amount of people at the right time do the right things, that is what can start to create that spark for change. But whether or not it will be in my lifetime, I don't know. I'm not a idealist. Yeah. But I do believe that everybody has to play a part in making the country a better place. And we cannot keep, expecting what we don't deliver. So me...
You do your part.
I play my part. Yeah, so nice. I just want to live my life knowing that I didn't, what's the word?
Yeah, you did what you had to do.
Yeah, I didn't give up. You know what I mean? Because I want to have children. I want to be able to look them in the eye and say, I did my best.
I did my part. Yeah, and that's it. I feel like if someone can scold Nigeria, so to say, because we are at a point where some artists feel they are in the position to scold Nigerians. You guys don't do enough. The politicians are cheating you guys. I'm like, you're not in that position. There are people who can say that. Like, Uncle Femi can say that. Uncle Sheo can say that. Fela said that a lot. Like, before Fela scolded Nigerians, he fought for Nigerians. If Fela is going to scold Nigerians once, he's fought for them 50 times before he even scold them once. So I get that. It's for you, it feels like it's a calling beyond just even being your part. Do you feel like by virtue of being born into this family, you feel like it was inevitable that you'd find yourself doing what you're doing now? Yeah,
and my own is not even just the Nigerian scene. I don't just think about the growth of Nigeria as a colonial territory. It's not the school that I grew up in. My school of thought is very much of the Pan-Africanist school of thought. It is the identity of the African. It is finding true value in ourselves, true respect for ourselves, to know that if we want, can bring about the change that we really desire. It's not so much about the expectations of what people in power are supposed to give us. To a degree, it's now the responsibility of the average African to do the things that he or she needs to do as a collective to get the desired results that they want. So me, I think as an African, I don't think as a Nigerian.
Nigerian, oh, nice.
And I am also very careful about world politics. Because as much as I understand that, we have to think as Pan-Africanists and develop Africa. The world is now entirely connected. We can't dismiss the West or the East. And I always have a scare of my children feeling inferior to the rest of the world. Because whenever an African does something great, especially in pre-colonial history, like the pyramids or the Benin Wall, they say, who did it? It's not Africans, it was aliens. That's the view that the world gives to Africans. So it's individually, we do incredibly well. As a collective, we collectively and repeatedly, fall short of all the things that we're capable of. So it's just that really.
It's nice. It's nice. So that's speaking of like being a Pan-Africanist, you've performed in multiple countries. You've traveled.
I've been lucky.
Like Afrobeat music is a sound that is connected to globally. People, people love the sound. They love to enjoy the emotions. So now, for someone who's performed like in multiple countries, what does it feel like to perform in the shrine in particular? 'Cause I feel like it's a very different. I see it as a spiritual space. So what do you feel? What's that essence?
Let me reply that in a different way. So I've played in multiple places. I've been lucky. I've been very fortunate. But then the shrine has seen all kinds of people from around the world come to it, and everybody that comes says the same thing. There's no place like it in the world.
Spiritual.
It is the feeling, the vibe, the music, the physical experience of being there. It's uplifting, it feels liberal, it feels true. And there are not many spaces in Nigeria, in the world, that you can go and actually be yourself. The shrine is somewhere that truly doesn't care. I mean, who you are, what you are, the color of your skin, the class of the amount of money in your bank. You can come in and not buy anything. Just sit down and listen and jam.
And that's the spirit that when you read this Picture of a Life, by Carlos Moore, that's the spirit that Fela tried to impact from the start. Because people who didn't feel welcome at home, people were frustrated with their situation.
They just go there.
They just show up at the shrine. They just start living there. You didn't even ask them, are you going home or you're not going home? They just showed up and they just let them stay there.
You can just walk in and sit down.
It's a sanctuary.
It is, very much so.
So now, for again, you've toured the world, you've gone to places. Do you consider that at some point you might, travel around Nigeria a bit to perform? Yes,
we are not. It's wherever the opportunity arises, really. We've played Abuja, Ibadan, Abeokuta, and I think we played somewhere in the east. We played Enugu. So so wherever the shows come up, we go.
Okay, that's nice.
As long as we pay well.
I feel like you should. I feel there's a lot of people who've not had the chance to experience what it's like in person, and maybe performing in institutions around, select schools and stuff.
It would be nice to do like a school tour. Once we put out the music properly, a bit more.
Nice. I think there's people who would be interested in that you're watching. So you guys should try to make that work. So we could get Afrobeats to audience across Nigeria.
Big band.
Yeah. So speaking of music, right? Putting out music. You've worked. You're an Afrobeat artist. You work with Popsi. You guys have gotten Grammy nominations. There's Uncle Sean doing Afrobeat as well. But at the same time, within the family, you guys have reached out to work with other artists. Popsi has worked with Coldplay. Uncle Sean has worked with rappers. She's Jenny Monet. Essentially everybody, Fireboy. You've also worked with Lakon and a couple of mainstream acts. So do you think you do more of that, or for you, do you feel like the artist itself and the song itself has to have a bit of utility and purpose to it, because you don't want to just be like, okay, I don't want to collaborate with the biggest names. I want to collaborate on a given philosophy or a given purpose.
Okay, it's sort of two. So the first, I've had some interesting collaborations. The Coldplay one, when they reached out to that, I was a part of that because I helped with arranging. But with and just a side note, they're some of the most fantastic people you can ever meet. They're so, you think that with that level of success and accomplishment, there'd be a bit of ego at play. But
that's Coldplay.
Coldplay, they are fantastic. Chris is the most guy. They're all so wonderful. Another person I worked with recently, which was really cool, was PJ Morton.
Yeah, PJ Morton, he was in the country. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a song together called "Who You Are." Another fantastic experience. Very musical.
Yeah.
These people, they don't just. It's not so much, we want to attain it. It has to be short and it has to be successful. It's like, what's the meaning of this song? We want your input creatively as a musician, not so much as a name staple kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I've also done something with Runtown, Kida, the Caveman, and one or two other people. But to answer your question, when people reach out to me, I'm very open for collaborations.
Yeah.
But my music is very particular. It's not easy to find or figure out who the right person to work with is. So like Life as We Know It Now, who would you see on that?
Okay. Thank you for my suggestion. Yeah. Maybe not Life as You Know It, because that song, I'll say Another World Black. Yeah, support of
where?
Yeah, but
I mean, it's for the artist. To be honest,
I think someone you should work with is Wizard Chan. I mentioned it before.
Yeah, you did.
I think you guys should make music that is spiritual. Not people can make a lot of music that has like a bit of spiritual connection, and it makes that kind of sound as well. And I told him I was going to tell you this, and he told me that he was speaking with somebody just yesterday, and he told them they have a song, and my spirit is telling me I should get my Kuti on this, and I should get the son of Oliver the Cook on this as well, because that's what the song needs. And I feel like again, music is spiritual. There's just the spirit moving everybody. So I would really hope to see that happen at some point.
Let the conversations begin.
Yeah. So now in terms of legacy, you already, although your legacy is already in motion, and you're already going in a direction, and everything. But what do you consider to be? I mean, if you ask me, I would say the Kuti family, the legacy it's beyond music. I mean, from Fela to Beko Kuti to Grandma, all the things she did. Like there's legacy that goes beyond making music. It's selflessness and giving a part of yourself and even getting nothing in return. How do you feel like this is a cross that can be sometimes daunting, unbearable, exhausting, because I don't like other people are buying Ferraris and they're going clubbing, they're chilling, but there's there's a vision to the music. There are things that you cannot do because you have to align with the vision. You feel like at some point you have to accept that, or your mindset from being raised by Femi Kuti was already engineered and get towards, okay, this is your goal, this is your vision, these are the sacrifices you have to make.
Honestly, I'm the kind of person that, to a large degree, I just do what I want. So a lot of my interests are, maybe my dad was very clever with how he raised us, but the school of thought is, I don't care much about materialistic things. For example, how many cars do you need to drive? I genuinely don't understand it.
Like why people would want that.
If it's not practical, why do you have 7, 8 cars? They're depreciating assets. In the next couple of years, they lose
change everything.
So it's weird to me, but it's an interest to another person. But you see, with that selflessness, I'm very careful with that. So you see, giving and getting nothing in return. I am of the opinion that we've done enough of that.
Yes.
And I have really no interest in, I'm happy to be on the right side of history, but not at the cost of
the well-being of your family
and the people around me. Do you know what I mean? So it's like this ridiculousness with the Ojota protest with my dad. I still remember how it panned out because I was out of town. And he said, Madi, they've called me, the floor subsidy, I'm going to go. He goes there and he sings against, the government and the subsidy, and he's singing. And then he calls Tinubu's name, and then they collect the mic from him. Because he sings a song called Where Our Money. In that song, Where Our Money, he calls all the politicians, regardless of political party. So he is going there for a just cause. And then they say, wait, you can't talk about it. But that says what? So he doesn't show up again. He comes out about this thing and says it publicly. That this is what happened. Until today, Nigerians are still insulting him on a daily basis. That he should come out and be speaking about Jota. Where is Femi Kuti? And to me, as a young, no, I'm not even young anymore, youngish person, I look at these clowns and I just think, it must be stupid. to be this.
This is a man that's given a lot.
This to be this backwards. And then you say, your father did not. What did your own father do? Do you know what I mean? So that accountability is what I think we all start to need to develop. Stop expecting things. You have all the power. Your numbers are astronomical. There are 22 million people in Lagos. If you can all agree
on the subject
that we're going in this direction, there's nothing anybody can do to stop you.
Yeah.
But you are easily distracted. You will not do the things that are supposed to enrich your lives. You do the things that have been strategically designed to distract you from your own progress. And then you blame a third party, a musician.
Everyone is finding a messiah, someone who will carry the cross for them.
So if you say, people looked at Nigeria in the past and all they could think about was the corrupt country, like scams and things.
Yeah.
And now today, when people speak of Nigeria, they speak of creativity.
Yeah.
And a lot of individual accomplishment. In sports, you're thinking boxing, you're thinking Anthony Joshua. Yeah. You're thinking medicine. The medical field in London is filled with Nigerians. So what is the issue? Because clearly we can do it.
Yeah, it's just, I think as a whole, there's just too many factors that it's not making us function as a people. And again,
so there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
It's education, right? Nothing in our schools taught us of our history and ourselves. At no point did I ever learn about pre-colonial Nigerians. I had to read books out of my way, out of the curriculum. I had to learn about the scramble for Africa. I had to learn about the CIA's covert operations in the Congo and in Burkina Faso. So we're ill-informed. But again, this is my issue. You have a responsibility to learn. And through that responsibility is where change will come. So is it political leadership that will bring change? I
think even beside even education, I'm an advocate of this is a union that should never even have come to being. Like, this is a mismatch. We have absolutely nothing in common, this and that. But again, I think people demanding, that I need, is Femi Kuti should lead this protest.
It's ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous because this is a man that...
It's absolutely
I feel
ridiculous.
like when the stakes were higher, this is a civilian government, right? When the stakes were higher, he was saying, I'm not going to perform. When the old musicians in the country, at least most of them, celebrities, footballers came together and endorsed Abacha, he said, I'm not going to show up.
When he tells me,
I was killing people
when
for
he tells me the story, he turned down Ghana, those bags of money, like it was cash, and he said, absolutely not, I don't align. When even a time when VP of the time, Oshibanjo, came to the house to ask for his endorsement with Buhari, he said there's no way he can do that. Buhari jailed his father. Nigerians en masse were saying Buhari will bring change. If any of us as a Kuti just came and said, are you sure about Buhari?
You guys would have been slated.
Immediately. So you see, my position in all of this is, it's turned out a bit ridiculous to me how we've been educated to point the finger.
Yeah.
And we must now start to align with each other. Start saying, maybe it's not Davido that is the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not Subaba. Maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my community.
Yeah.
Maybe that guy, that Obada will always respect. Maybe we should go and meet that guy. I said, guy, what's happening?
Yeah.
So the middle class, the lower class have to collectively unite.
Yeah. So lastly, so now being on the road, you're a family man, you're a married man, and so has it been like being on the road? You have to be on the road for like extended period. Do you travel with your wife, or how do you guys cope, like in terms of distance?
It's a mix of things. Like right now, I just came back from Geneva, and she didn't go with me for that one. But I'm supposed to be in Italy at the end of this month, and she's coming with me for that one. So it's
shuffle.
Yeah, we shuffle it. Nice. So yeah, it's nice. My wife does not complain.
Yes, that's lovely.
She's very understanding and loving.
It's lovely. So so lastly, on the future of Afrobeat.
Yeah.
When I look at Afrobeat, I mean, you are the future. I think the Kutis will always be the future of Afrobeat. The Afrobeat started with Fela, and it's been continued, propelled by the Kuti family.
Yeah.
Do you think at some point we'll get to a point where when we have like in a place of enlightenment and more education, some new artists might want to be like you, be like Uncle Femi, be like
instrumentalists,
and perform music? Because right now, in terms of being performing musicians, you guys are the unique space. Others want to be pop artists because the flashy things. People always go towards flashy. But do you think at some point there will be people who will be, in terms of enlightenment? You know what I think? I think it's going to happen. And you know what the craziest part of it?
What's
I don't
that?
think it's going to be Nigerians. I think it's going to be white men
There are
looking at
already
you and wanting to sing like you.
there are already many Afrobeat bands outside of Nigeria. There are
Yeah,
Japanese
Antibalas
ones,
and
there are
a lot
Chile,
of
there's
these guys.
Kokoroko. So this question is so interesting because in my experience so far in Lagos, there's actually a lot of musicians like that. But the issue is there's no market space for them. Because I can name, several, Olusegun and the Stallions, this band that just, I forget their name, but the folks, there's so many young musicians, extremely talented. When I say they play, but there's no space for them because where is the audience for them? Where are the
There's a small
listeners?
space, yeah.
How do they survive when venues won't even pay 5% of what they'll pay, a
pop artist,
B, C list pop artist. So it's not that they're not musicians, it's that there's no space for them. Because again, when something makes money, every business owner sort of goes towards that direction. Nobody's looking towards creativity and originality. We're really looking towards the quickest profit.
Yeah. So to that end, I think when I become rich, when I have the kind of money I would like to have,
Yes.
I would like to do something like, I think.
Remember me then.
Yeah, I mean, definitely like an Afrobeat festival. And I'm not
Yeah.
speaking Celebration, because Celebration, everyone comes to honor Fela, be the rapper, be the reggae artist. But no, people, Afrobeat, like Afrobeat from morning till night. If you're climbing the stage, you're playing Afrobeat. Call and response. The way Fela played the music. And I think because we need to encourage more people that, okay, this is a genre that is just, that it's almost entirely ours in terms of the spirit. There's a spirit channels that cannot be
Afrobeat
found
is
anywhere.
ours.
Yeah.
It is entirely ours.
Absolutely, and it will always continue to be ours, thanks to efforts of you, Uncle Femi, Uncle Sean, and every other person. So thank you very much for doing this.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, I hope to hear more music from you. So you're dropping more stuff soon.
Lots. We have another single this month. At the end, I think it's the 27th of June, and then the album is the 25th of July.
Absolutely, another Grammy nomination in the bag. So you guys already know how to do it.
Yeah.
We drop an album, we get a Grammy nomination.
And we have it. And we have a show this month as well on the 21st at Bachire.
At the Shrine?
No, Bachire Brewery.
Okay, no, be there.
It's
now.
a
That's
wonderful
Lagos now.
space, man. Yeah.
You've performed at Bachire before.
Every time I'm there, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'll be there.
And they've redesigned.
Yeah, I know it was closed down, and I'll be there. The benches are still there.
Yeah, the benches are still there.
And the beers, I'll be there.
Exactly.
You said this month?
This month, 21st.
21st, Bachire, catch us there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Afrobeat in motion. Thank you very much, Freddie.
Of course, man.
Catch
My
you
pleasure.
soon.